And the other resistance, the final one, is believing that you can do it on your own. It's been my experience that it is really difficult to do it, whatever it is, consistently when you're going to the next level. Listen, you're smart. You would not be in this room if you're not smart. Turn to the person next to you and say, it's obvious that you're smart. You're smart. If you could have done it on your own, you would have. If you could have done it on your own, you would have. So you want that virtual assistant? Get that virtual assistant and let her help you. You want that support in your business? Get it. You cannot give yourself a good haircut. The pull of the muggle world is too strong. When there's no accountability, I'm not doing that. You can put the lights back on. Thank you. When there's no accountability, people go back to their old ways. It's the rubber band stretch that we talked about, right? And when you're playing bigger, there will be a tremendous urge to go back to the old ways of doing things, right? With accountability, you witness new income levels becoming your new normal, right? Hashtag new normal. The question is, are you willing? Are you willing?
It's cold out there, Lindsay. It's cold out there, Lindsay. The wind, the sheer ice. Dealing with that takes work, training. Let's go. Dig. Stay hungry. Ready to call it quits. Get up, Lindsay. Professionals compete. Champions dominate.
Are you gonna let them beat you? Are you gonna protect this house?
I will.
What did you get from that video? Raise your hand. Harriet. You're right. Goes back to the Henry Ford quote, whether you think you're right, or whether you think you can, or the thing you can't, you're right. No, you can put it back. It's fine. Perfect. What else? Yeah, you're right. So it's a question of, if you believe that you can, you will. There needs to be a willingness. Yes. Say that again? Yeah. Yeah. There is hard work in being a world champion. I get that you're not looking to be a world champion. Okay. Good, you're my people. Yeah, but sometimes they're like, no, I just want to fill my practice, Fabienne. I'm not looking to be a world champion. That's fine too. But my entire family is really into skiing. Claire and Luke raced for a few years. Derek races, you know, like gates and stuff like that. It's actually quite an attractive outfit that you have to wear. You know, the... I digress. But so and Lindsey Vonn is one of our heroes. And the Under Armour people asked her at the end, they were like, oh no, it wasn't the Under Armour people. The journalist asked her, so how was it filming that commercial? Like, was it hard? And she looked at them like, you putz. I do this every day. You just happened to drop in to see my regular routine. It's the willingness to do the thing that's outside of your comfort zone.
It's not just the physical thing, though. It's the negative message.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes?
Well, seeing the videos that touched our PC that I can't.
Well, I really dislike exercising.
Are you a rebel?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, me too.
So, don't even ask me to go for a walk like for real, you know? If
Yeah.
it's
We could take a walk to the cafe and have a rosé
promenade,
together,
a
right?
promenade, I'll go, beautiful, yeah. So when I saw her, something opened up in me that I can take rigor. I just have to be willing. And where is my will? Is in loving myself. I can look really hot like her. Only if I'm willing.
That's right.
And that was a breakthrough. Thank you, Fabienne.
You're welcome. It's when your will is bigger than your excuse, right?
Hi, Ida Fields. I just wanted to share that what you did with the comfort zone, where you just sort of went there and then you went. I just did that with my husband as the slides were coming up of the skeptic and opposite you. And I was, I decided I was going to sign up today, but I was like, but something doesn't feel right about it.
Yeah.
I was out of integrity.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I actually have to tell my husband if I'm going to spend $15,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, but before, I would have just done it.
Yeah.
But I was like, but that doesn't feel right. But I was like, okay, but how am I going to tell him? And before I would have been like, can I? There would have been all of that. And I just said, here's what I'm doing. But I also would have just said, I'm doing it. And I said to him, but I'll wait until tomorrow if that's more comfortable for you.
Yeah.
And of course, he just said, okay. And then he came back with some questions. And I was like, okay.
Did you
And
send
that
him
was
to
it.
boldheartspouse.com?
No, but I sent him to Bold Heart Business. But yeah,
Just
I
go.
could.
But Derek.
I love that.
I mentioned it last night for those people who were interested.
Yeah.
Boldheartspouse.com, because we know, like, we want to honor. It's
Yeah.
usually the husband at home. It's like, if you're a man, you might want to check in with your wife. But Derek and I did a video for your spouse,
Oh, lovely.
and this video starts like, so your partner is at this event. And you just got a phone call that says, because we want to honor him. We want to
Yes.
honor him, that he's not blindsided by this. We honor that you're typically somebody who wants to see details. What the hell is this? Et cetera, et cetera. Here's the program guide. Here is a version of the offer, an old version. So we'll re-record, Here's what she saw. Here are inspiration panels from the past. Here, I think, are FAQs and all of that, because we know that you want to be armed with the facts. It's an honoring thing to ask them to meet their needs, right? As you're getting your needs met here, they can get their needs met so that they can feel good about the decision, which means that you feel good about the decision.
Yes.
High five for honoring yourself and him.
Hello, Fabian. I'm Kim Spillers, Rural Community Solutions. I live in Atlantic, Iowa, and we're all kind of on the same theme that I was wondering. You and Derek are business partners.
Yeah.
Frank and I are business
Yeah.
partners. You two apparently are business partners.
Yeah.
So there's this little different dynamic to that. Could you speak to that a little bit for those of us
Yeah,
who
I'd be
are in
happy to.
business together as well as being married?
Yeah, I mean, I could do, actually, Derek and I did a whole day a few years ago called Working with Your Spouse. I'll give you like 2 minutes of best practices. Okay, so, so it was my business first, and then he came into it 10 years later, and he's wired exactly differently than I am, and it was a lot of, I'm just gonna be honest, and it was kind of ugly, but like, he wanted to structurize me. And, you know, I was used to moving deadlines, like, okay, well, we'll launch it a week from now or 2 weeks from now. He's like, no, we're launching it now. I'm not ready. We're launching it now. This is my business. And a lot of that, I've slammed the door too to make my point passionately. What I realized, this wasn't happening to me, it was happening for me. The fact that he's wired exactly differently than me. So it took us a while to figure out, and now we have a beautiful working relationship, and I'll give you a couple of things. One, do some assessments so you know how you're wired differently. We did Colby, we did the Gallup Strengths Finder, we did DISC, we did how to fascinate. Those of you in the program know all of the, but basically it's like we are literally polar opposites. And where I want to talk about ideas, he's like, how are we going to get it done, right? Because I'm just throwing spaghetti at the wall. So when I talk to him, I say this: you don't have to do anything. I'm just throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? And he's like, oh, okay. We communicate differently. No, let me start with, we each have 2 sets of baseball caps. Imaginary baseball caps. One says wife, one says coworker. You can't wear 2 baseball caps at the same time. So sometimes we'll actually joke and say, am I talking to my husband here, or am I talking to my coworker or integrator? And we have to, When we communicate with each other, you can think this is anal retentive or whatever, but it really works for us. When we communicate with each other, if it's work, we will Slack each other. If it's personal, we will text each other. Just 2 different channels. So Slack is a tool that we'll teach you about because you're in the program. Yeah. No, we do not slap each other. Frank, watch out. Yeah, you're welcome. So, because one time he sent me a text, and it was Saturday afternoon, and I was watching a movie, and it was not a great text, or maybe it was the opposite. No, I think it was on this receiving end. And I said, please forgive me, I don't talk to him often like this, okay? But I was kicked out of the vortex because it was really not great news. And I said, did you have to send this to me on a Saturday afternoon? Like, this could have waited, this bad news there's nothing I can do until Monday. And he said, but I didn't want to forget, and I wanted to tell you. And so he was right, and I was right. And so we decided to separate our channels. And I know this sounds crazy, but sometimes we're in the same room, and instead of saying, honey, what do you think? And in fact, we don't actually say honey when we're working together. He'll Slack it to me, and I know it's there. Is that helpful? You're welcome.
Super helpful.
You're welcome.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Ahmed with Turn It On, www.timetoturnIton.com. And this last year has been completely transformational. I went through Landmark's Curriculum for Living.
Awesome.
And yes, thank you. And so when you talk about stepping into the uncomfort zone,
Yeah.
I'm swimming in it. I'm cannonballing into it. You know,
Okay.
anything that I'm uncomfortable, I'm jumping in.
Yeah.
And my question is when you're evaluating trying all these new different paths and doing videos and everything you're uncomfortable with, when do you start saying, how long is this going to take to convert? And are you marketing efficiently correctly? Is there, I'm looking at the numbers and I'm told, you're getting bookings, but you're not getting coaching yet. So just continue on this path. But when is it where you need to really evaluate and say, is this path really working?
So get your notebook. I'm going to give you a quote to write down.
Okay, hold on.
Okay. I'll say it to them, and then I'll say it again for you. The day you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit. Okay? The day you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit. And so one of the things that Kiva teaches so brilliantly in the growth track is that stop being attached to the results. This afternoon, we're going to talk about the law of gestation. The law of gestation is how long it takes, for example, a baby to form. The day you conceive is not the day you want to see the baby.
Okay.
Right? And especially some of us have experienced some negative things around seeing a baby arrive too early, right? Mm-hmm. You got to let it take its time.
Okay.
So we'll talk more about that this afternoon,
Okay.
about being patient. But it's about taking the daily actions, being detached from the outcome. And we'll talk more about it.
Okay.
Okay?
Perfect.
But just show up for the daily actions anyway.
I'm doing that.
Great.
Okay.
That's it. And and we'll talk this afternoon about staying in positive expectation. I got you covered all day.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank
Give her a
you.
hand.
Thanks.
So, I want to play this one more time.
It's cold out there, Lindsay. It's cold out there, Lindsay. The wind, the sheer ice. Dealing with that takes work, training.
Let's go. Dig, 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 Come on. Yeah. All right.
Stay hungry. Ready to call it quits? Get up, Lindsay.
Professionals compete. Champions dominate. Are you gonna let them beat you? Are you gonna protect this house?
I will.
Day 3 about action starts with, are you willing? It's cold outside. Stay in bed. It's hard work. Stay in bed. You have to decide if you want to be the one who stays in bed and will ever wonder what you could have done. So we're going to take a 30-minute break now. Hold on. You have some assignments. The first one is to finish your 50 ways. Not for me. I will not be checking with a red pen. For you. If you have to have some conversations, make them during the break, now, even before you go to the bathroom, to honor yourself and to honor the people who love you. Basically, by the time we get back from the break in 30 minutes, my team needs to tell the chef how many of us he can cook lunch for the orientation and celebration lunch. Hand in your commitment card by the end of this break. I'll see you at 11:30.